All right, let's talk Texas A&M Aggies football. Season went off to a solid start. Really kind of a disappointing end, but it was year one with Coach Elco. There was going to be some volatility, figuring things out. I think the overall trend is still positive, still solid in College Station, and it looks like Coach Elco and his staff are making a smart move to start the offseason. I think it's a great sign for the Aggies going forward. I'm Nick, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, this Texas A&M team, they're gearing up for their bowl game. A solid, if not unspectacular. Certainly the finish wasn't great to the regular season, but like all programs are using this time to recruit and go after guys, whether they're high school prospects or through the transfer portal in today's modern era, of course, NIL and all that, playing a massive role. And the Aggies are wasting no time with their strategy and plan. Off to a quick start here. Let's pull up this latest report, courtesy of 24/7 Sports. Texas A&M will be aggressive in adding to their roster in year two of Mike Elko, and the Aggies are hosting one of the top transfer portal prospects today. Multiple sources, this would be yesterday by the time you guys are reading this, multiple sources confirm that Texas Tech transfer wide receiver Micah Hudson, good player, will be on campus in College Station over the next 2 days. A former five-star out of Lake Belton, Hudson is ranked as the number 5 wide receiver and number 9 overall prospect in the 24/7 Sports transfer portal rankings. All right, it's one thing for them trying to upgrade their roster. Everyone's trying to do that, but I think the player and the position group they're focusing on here is really important and a smart move by Elko. Miles, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this, but first, Texas A&M fans in the comment section below. Like I said, regular season was looking good through 3 quarters. Bummer of an end, but overall, I still think solid. In the comment section, give us your MVP of the Texas A&M regular season, offensive guy, defensive guy, whatever it may be. Give us your MVP of the Aggies 2024 regular season. Put them in the comment section below. But Miles, what are your thoughts on this latest news out of College Station?
Yeah, Nick, I think this move for Texas A&M is showing that they are really trying to upgrade the weapons on this offense. I think the move to going towards Marcel Reed at the quarterback position shows there was a lot of promise there. There's a lot of intrigue there. Reed did some really good things. But if you look at the receiving core, I think there's a lackluster. I don't think one guy got over 500 yards this season. I think just overall the passing attack for Texas A&M due to injury, due to uncertainty at the quarterback position as who the starter is going to be until maybe later on the season. All of that had to play into it, but I think overall 2,400 total passing yards for the Aggies probably isn't where you want to be in terms of passing the football. So what does Texas A&M go out and do? They go and recruit a young up and coming high schooler in Jerome Miles, 5-star out of Draper, Utah. Really great prospect there. And then they double down in the transfer portal and already go after another former 5-star wide receiver in Hudson, a guy who I think was really kind of utilized in Texas Tech. He came there. They really didn't have it in the plans for him to go out and be heavily utilized. I think he only got 8 catches for a little over 100 yards in that first season. It wasn't heavily utilized by Texas Tech. He wants a change of scenery. And this is a Texas A&M squad that I think can really, really use a guy like that and use a guy like Jerome Miles. And both of those would be major upgrades for Marcel Reed. So overall, I think the article is very apt. I think when it says Texas A&M going to be aggressive this offseason, it's going to be aggressive in upgrading their offensive firepower, especially at the wide receiver position. We saw it in the recruiting game, being able to, not nail down a commitment from Miles, but now they're going after it in the transfer portal too. I love to see them doubling down, and I think we're going to see some exciting offensive wide receiver firepower this coming season.
Well, there's a couple things to unpack here. First and foremost, it's just a different approach under Elko than it was with Fisher, right? I know we say this all the time, but the reality is every offseason, it felt like Fisher was just accumulating however much big name talent he possibly could, regardless of strategy or position. At least that was the vibe it was, right? I'm sure there was some real strategy in there. It just did not give the appearance, and certainly the output on the field did not indicate a strategy. Elko and his staff ended the season correctly so, looking at the roster and be like, we have issues at playmaking at wide receiver. We have a good defense. We think our quarterback position is a little bit not as much as we'd like in terms of passing the football, but Reed stepped up in a big way. We'll see what the future holds there at that position. Running game was good. Defense outstanding. We know that. Elko did a great job with that unit. The question is playmakers at receiver, right? And this is an Aggies offense that finished in the bottom half of the SEC and finished fourth worst in passing yards per game. That ain't going to get it done, right? You got to have at least, you don't have to have an elite passing offense. You don't have to be like the 2000, whatever, 18, 19, I forget what year it was, LSU Tigers with Burrow and Jefferson and Chase and all those guys, but you got to be at least be good. And right now, the A&M passing offense is downright terrible, and it's because they need playmakers. Let's be totally honest. They don't have the firepower yet to play with the big guys in the SEC, and I think that cost them against Texas. Their defense, special teams did great. They just couldn't generate big plays or consistent third down conversions through the passing game. And Elco, to his credit, it's obvious, but he's taking advantage of it. It's like, listen, we've got a clear weakness here. Let's aggressively attack. We see it with Hudson. We saw it with Miles. We're going to see this continue this entire offseason. That appears to be the theme. Get better at wide receiver. I think that's the right approach. It's the right start to the offseason. You always can tell what position groups, what strategies really matter to coaching staffs and programs with how they start the offseason. If they're all over the map, it means they really don't have a plan. If they're all in on a certain quarterback, it means they're trying to really find their next franchise quarterback, next program quarterback, whatever you want to call them. In this case, early, right out the gate, A&M going for the wide receivers. It sends a message to everybody, basically. This is the one position group we have to fix this offseason. Smart move by Elco and his staff. And if they get it done, this team's going to be much, much better in 2025, and the momentum will continue for Texas A&M.